Okay, so now let's talk about UART registers. UART registers in PIC24. Okay. So there's a register. If we will look at the data sheet for UART, but we have a register called UX mode. Okay, so it's basically UART X mode register. So we do the most of the settings using this one. So under this we have URTEN register, like a bit. So basically this is UART enable bit. Okay, it can be either 0 or 1. And then we have BRGH bit in this register. This is either selects high or slow transmission baud rate. So depending on the values, 0 or 1, you can set either high baud rate or low baud rate, and I'll show it in a bit. The other one is PDSEL, and this is parity, like this is 2 bits that sets parity and the data selection bits. Okay, parity, and again I will show you in a second, and data selection bits. And finally we have more than this, but I'm talking about the important ones. STSEL. So this is stop bit selection bit. Okay, so these are the most important bits in this register, UX mode register, that we need to set for basic UART transmission. So let's look at now to the data sheet, the section 21 about UART. So here, I wish I could. So here you can see that. Let's see if I can open this in another document that I can. Let's see if I open with this one, what happens. I'm not sure. Okay, very quick. Okay. Okay, anyway, so let's go back to here. So here on the top you can see URTN, right? So this first one, bit 15, I cannot use my pen for this, but you can see on the top, bit 15 is basically bit 15 here on the top register. here is basically that pin basically enables the UART or disables the UART. Okay, and then we have, if we go down, so then we have like if we go down here, so there's bit 3 again. So this one, bit 3 is BRGH, and that again, what it does, it's basically sets high speed mode or low speed mode. Okay, so for baud rate, you have two modes: high baud rate, selection bit, so you can either be in high speed or low speed, and we will talk about that one is well, more extensively later. And then we have a PDSEL, this one, and this one is basically parity and data selection bit. Okay, so you have 4 options. So you can say, okay, 9-bit data, no parity, so you transmit 9-bit data, or 8-bit data with odd parity, 8-bit data with even parity, and 8-bit data with no parity. So you have to select one of these options. Okay, and then finally we have STSCL, stop selection bit. So for stop, the way I showed you was only 1 bit. So if you have, let's say, transmitting data, so if you have 1 bit high, that means stop, it's a stop bit, or you can set it up to 2 stop bits. Okay, so then it's gonna expect 2 high bits to and it's gonna basically interpret that as a stop bit. Okay, so it can be either 1 stop bit, or it can be 2 stop bits. Okay, again, that's up to you. Sometimes if you think a microcontroller needs a little bit more time to process things, like having 2 stop bits might be a good idea. Again, that's kind of up to you, and of course you are wasting 1 bit. Things gets a little bit slower in so yeah, that's that. So these are the 4 important the bits that we need to set for UART in the UART register, UART mode register. Okay, so there are other things. You can just look at this and the IREN here, so IRDA encoder and decoder. I don't know much. There are things that I really myself I haven't used, and don't really know much about them. So I think at this point you don't need to know all of them for now. So other bits can stay whatever their default value, and we only need to make sure that we set this 4 bits properly based on what we are trying to do. And then this is the control register, right? So mode control register. But then we have status register, like basically that checks the status of transmission, and then transmission and receiving part. Is there any, like, it checks if transmitting happening, and you have like an interrupt based on that and things like that. So that's also important. But we will cover that stuff in more detail when I have a discussion with about UART, and I'll give you a code, like a working code, and we will talk about. We will simulate the UART communication, and I'll give you more examples. Okay. And yeah, maybe I can just summarize very quick about that for the status register. Here we have UTEN. UTXEN. Basically, this enables this one. It enables the transmission enable bit, okay, or disables it. And then we have let's see which ones are important that we have to know. Yeah, so then there is this one, another register, receive register, and basically you know so the received data goes so the data needs to be transmitted goes here, okay. And as you can see, the most significant byte is pretty much unimplemented, okay. So because the data transmitted is basically 8 or 9 bits, right? And then so you have two modes there for that, right? So if URX 8 data bit 8 of received character in 9-bit mode, and then you have data bit 0 to 7 of the received character. Okay, then you have transmit register. This is write only. So basically the data needs to be transmitted, has to go here. And yeah, that's again, we will talk about this in more detail later, so I'll just stop here. This part, and move to talk about baud rates in a little bit more detail.